Hey, what's going on, everybody? What is happening? Welcome to Office Hours. It is new. We're doing the 1 o'clock. I know there's freaking people out here. It's like, what are you doing on so early, Paul? Well, I'm trying out something new. Just trying a different time to see if that works for people, and so I'm kind of testing and seeing what happens there. But I'm welcome. I welcome all that you are here that are jumping in at the 1 o'clock hour. Thank you for being here. If you're just kind of like confused, like Paul, what are you doing and why are you here and who are you? My name is Paul Turner from thediscipleproject.net, and I answer questions every Wednesday. Today at 1 o'clock, normally at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And I answer youth pastor questions, youth ministry questions, and I try to help youth pastors build successful youth ministries. And I've been a youth pastor now for a little over 30 years. I'm currently a part-time youth pastor, and I spend all my time right here on this site right here at the Disciple Project, creating content here on YouTube, writing articles, podcast, making videos, the whole thing, all the things, writing, video, and podcasting and audio. So if you're just jumping in, and I'm waiting for a few people to come in, let me know where you are from. I would love to know where you're at in the world. Maybe you could be across the world. I don't know where you're from, but let me know where you're at. If you're in the United States, let me know what state you're from. Would love to hear from you. And we will be cruising today. We have lots to cover, lots of great questions, some submitted by some of you that may be watching. And if you have a question during the chat, you are welcome to put it in the chat area, wherever you're watching this from. I will see it here in the comments. And if you're watching this in the future, well, then go ahead and leave a comment down below. Hey there, Wayne Hall from Jackson, Mississippi, tuning in. So good to see you. Glad to have you today. And got a lot of good things going on. And Jackson, Mississippi. I've been to Jackson, Mississippi. Actually, I took a youth ministry. I went to we had a missions trip there. Ministering at a day camp out of a church, and I took some students there. It was really one of the most memorable, I'll be honest with you, it was one of the most memorable trips we'd ever taken. So it was quite the deal. So yeah, we're going to be jumping in here. We're going to go to question number 1. By the way, if you're looking for resources, I'll throw this in here real quick, and I'll be sharing resources all throughout the program today. So feel free to take notes or visit. I'll have links down below to all the things I'm talking about when it's over, so you can check it out there as well. But if you're looking for resources, you can always go to gumroad.com/youthmenresources. Tons of resources. I think I have over 100 resources now, and that's everything from sermon series to graphics to this game. There's a game in there. I think there's a pizza game in there. I focused on a lot of sermon series and a lot of discipleship resources. So if you want to check that out and you are interested in those things, please go check it out. It's a way for you to support the channel, to support me, because that is what my life is about at this point. It is about equipping youth workers to build successful youth ministries so you can make more disciples and reach many more kids than you're reaching right now if I can help you do that. So, cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump into question number 1. Question number 1 is brought to you today by the Ultimate Youth Group Christmas Party Checklist. You say, Paul, we're not even past Halloween yet, Paul. I know, but you know what? You got to get ready. Okay. Some of you are thinking, I have a lady in my church, and I love her. She is. We've scheduled the Christmas party at her house, and she is asking me now. She's asking students what kind of food they want. It's tremendous. I love it. And so, to me, to plan early, to get those things down. That if you're looking for a way for decorations, if you're looking for game ideas, if you're looking for, I'm talking about everything from the beginning to the end of your party. Go ahead and grab this. You can get it. There'll be a link down below that you can get. To grab it for yourself, and you can check it out, because I think everybody needs to be ready for Christmas. I do love a good Christmas party. I have to say, is probably one of my favorite event activities over the year, because it's just a lot of fun. The mood is good. Kids are feeling good. Everybody's a little less cranky. And so I can appreciate that. I hope you can appreciate that too. All right, so that is that. Go ahead and grab that for yourself. You can find that in the doobly-doo when this is all said and done. So question number 1. This is Paul. Do you have a process for scholarships for students who cannot afford events? Yes. I mean, I want to help students be able to go to as many events as possible. And this is where our relationship with the church, you see, a lot of youth pastors don't want to connect with their church until they need money. And I say you need to connect with your church all the time for that time when you do need to be able to go to the congregation and ask for money, or your pastor and your budget, or whatever that may be. You are always, as a youth pastor, sowing goodwill, or should always be sowing goodwill into your congregation. That's why I say things like you should help out your children's ministry. That's why I say you should be, participating in hospital visits. That's why I say you should be lending yourself. I'm not talking about overworking yourself. I'm talking about just lending yourself to opportunities within your church that are outside of your purview, because later on you're going to say, hey, I really need some help with this. Can you help? And so I'll give you just my process. First of all, I have to work with students, understand their family. If I sense that a student is not going to be able to, and I usually have, and when I say events, there's usually things like youth convention, camp, missions trips, discipleship camp, kind of the big 4 events of the year. And most of the students that I have can usually facilitate that. They can, the prices are not so ginormous. There's really nothing over $200, I don't think, for any particular event. But I always make sure that parents, and I talk with parents and I ask them, I say, how are things going? If I feel like a student is in need, I want to make sure that I'm asking for students that are in need, and say, okay, I ask them too, I say, what can you guys do? I don't make it always 100% free, because I want students to have buy-in to the event or the activity. I say, what can you do? What can you do? So can you do half? Can you do a quarter? What can you do? $20, right? I just try to gauge the student or the family and say, just tell me what you can do, and then I will help facilitate the rest. So I try to get that buy-in. So the process for me is find out what a student can do or a family can do. I would say also, once again, always sowing goodwill be number 1. Check with the family, find out what they can do. I would establish too, there's where you can establish scholarships, right? There's when you apply for a scholarship, let's say for school, usually these things are named. There's a name to them. The Paul Turner, camp scholarship, because that is something that I've gone to all my life. So let's say I establish a scholarship, and students who want to go to camp, I want to make sure they go to camp. So you establish a scholarship. So it can just come out of general fund. But one way that you may want to think about doing it is establishing it in the name of somebody who really loved that particular thing. Maybe there's somebody in your church who really loved camp as a kid, and say, hey, I want to start a thing. Can we name it after you? The Mr. Jones Memorial, maybe they've passed or something like that. But maybe you could put it in somebody's name where people can contribute to that, so that there are finances available. It's very specific. It doesn't just come out of general fund, but it can be a very specific thing, so it can be tracked as well, that people are giving into a fund for camp or whatever that event or activity, missions trip. Maybe somebody's really super passionate about missions trips, and you want to establish a fund based on a person within your church, maybe who's present or maybe who has passed. And that's something you work with your pastor, to say, I would like to have establish a scholarship fund. Now, depending on the cost, it may come down to an application process. I don't know the size of your church. I have a small youth group, so I don't have to go through a ton of application process. If you have hundreds of kids, well, then you may have to establish an application process. And I would keep that application process super simple to where it's just one is just the a form that just says, hey, this is all my information. And then a letter. It just says, hey, write a letter. Why do you think you would benefit from this scholarship? Why do you think camp would be? Why do you want to go to camp? Why is this so important to you? And allow them to express it through written or maybe through audio or video. You can do that as well, where you just do a video testimonial. Submit your video testimonial and following up with parents. And you may still want to ask, what can you do? Because maybe you receive 25 applications. You have to say, well, we don't have enough to cover all this. Let's check with some people who can possibly do a part of this. So I think there's multiple ways to provide scholarships. To be able to do it. You take it out of general fund. You can establish a very specific scholarship in name of someone. And then you can have, there's always people that come up to me who will say, hey, let me know if a student's having trouble going, and make sure you make mental notes of who those folks are, and say, and always don't take money from them. Let me encourage you with something. Don't just take money from them. Ask them to submit it and put it in writing, or in the whatever it is, your church envelope, or whatever it is, to say, okay, this is going to go towards this, so that whoever does the finances can mark that down and put it in there. If they give you money, make sure you immediately put it into an envelope, mark it, and then submit it, so that the people who get those envelopes or whoever counts the offering and those things will know to mark it as such. And then you can keep track of saying, hey, I know we have so much in this account or in this. And if you don't have your budget, if your budget is not broken into accounts, maybe you can start if you have to start if you don't have a scholarship process, just go ahead and mark it and say scholarships. And every month, so much can be, if you have a budget, diverted into those, that you're doing it all year long, and saying, can you put $10 or $20 a month for the next year into that scholarship fund? Just make sure it kind of rotates in there. And that way, you know that you're automatically going to have some money available for scholarships, whatever that may be for. And you can do scholarships for whatever you want. I would not necessarily do scholarships. I would make the scholarships meaningful in the sense of saying, there's 4 events during the year that we do scholarships for. These are the 4. And, if it's a trip to Disney World, if it's a trip to, something that's really super fun, however you choose to do that, but I would not always go to the congregation for these little things. I would make sure that you're going to the congregation, or whatever it may be, whatever your scholarship process is, to make sure that the things that you're asking for are going to be super meaningful. They're going to help a student grow. It's going to move the dial up a little bit in the form of relationships. That it's not just a fun trip per se. You can do that, but I make sure that I reserve, certain things to be able to ask money for, or special scholarships, or those types of things, because I don't want to go to the well too often, and I want to make sure that whatever people are giving to are going to be quality events. That can be shown, and saying, hey, this is where your finances took this kid from this to this. I think that's important too, that you track a student's progress, that over the next 2 or 3 years, that you can say to whoever's giving, especially when you do that slideshow from camp, or you're doing a business report, and you get up there and say, hey, I just want to let you know, those of you that are giving into this scholarship, let me tell you what, little Johnny, who went to camp last year, is now considering his call to missions that he received at camp. So you're showing the progress of that, to be able to say, hey, this is a valuable scholarship. Let's keep giving to it. So I hope that answers your question as to scholarships. But I think, and if you have any questions about that, please go ahead and leave it in the chat there. And hopefully I'll elaborate on it some more if I can. So hopefully that answered your question. It's now time to take a drink of water. All right. Let's move on. Move on. Shall we move on? Shall we? Let's do that. All right. Question number 2. Question number 2 here on Office Hours is brought to you by this Thanksgiving responsive reading. It's Psalm 100, and I wrote 2 different responsive readings. These responsive readings, I like responsive readings. There's a lot of people who don't get into those. I like them because it encourages students to participate. It's a great way to close a youth meeting or open a youth meeting. Or you say, well, Paul, I don't have a lot of worship options. Well, a responsive reading can be worship. If you're asking students to, jump into this thing where you're giving glory to God, you're doing a responsive reading, and you can say, hey, I would really like to have kids do that. I don't have a band. I don't have a lot of other options, but I think a responsive reading is Thanksgiving. I've written it 2 different ways. I've written it in a very traditional way, and then I wrote it in kind of a fairly humorous way. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You could do it at the beginning as part of worship, very serious, and you could actually end it maybe with a more humorous way. And that way you can have both experiences as a part of that, to where you're using both of them in the same night. So that would be a lot of fun, I think. So if you're looking for that, that'll be a link down below, and you can. And all you have to do is sign up. By the way, for all of these resources, I think two of the 3 resources I'm sharing with you today, you sign up for my newsletter. If you're not signed up for my newsletter yet, I send out a newsletter every week, and you get resources, you get videos, articles, podcast episodes. What I'm reading, you get a playlist, a Spotify playlist. What I call, like this month is October Bangers, and it has a list of all the songs that I put in there. It's new music you can play for your students. So if you want something like that in your inbox every week, it's the Youth Ministry Roundup, where I take the best of the web, the best of what I have, and I put it in there so that you can have a resource every week to draw from without spending an hour just Googling things. That's my job. I'll Google it for you, or I'll find ways to give it to you, right? It's trends, it's culture, it's a lot of little things that you'll see in there. So sign up and go ahead and get this resource right here. Like I said, it'll be down in the doobly-doo when I am done here. So be sure to go ahead and grab that for yourself. And if you're watching this in the future, already down there. Okay? All right. Reading. Use it. It's good for you. Question number 2. Best youth group prizes. Best youth group prizes. I'm a fan of food, candy, strange candy, right? If you can find some, I think like bags of Takis are really popular right now, which is a potato chip. Anything spicy, anything like that is fun, right? That they can eat is always good. You can, I like to buy anything sour, like a bag of, like, I have like a grab bag for like, especially games, where I don't tell them what they're winning. I just say, look, there's a grab bag over there, and you can reach your hand in the grab bag and pull some stuff out. And you pull one thing out, and there you go. That's what you have. So anything food related like that, anything strange or just fun like that, and you can do traditional things as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with traditional things. I will tell you this, though. I have seen, I'm going to make these really big to show you what they are. I saw where Matthew McNutt suggested a prize on one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and I thought, well, this is interesting. And let me go ahead and take that down, and let me show you what he suggests he is using as a prize with his youth group, and that is ducks. These little weird little ducks that are like, they're rubber duckies, but they're collectible, right? They look like a pop or a collectible thing because they're so odd and so unusual. There's all kinds of different colors, and I think this particular one, there's like 100. You get 100 of them for like $30, something like that. Another one you can look at, another fun thing is you can, let's see, will this pop up this way? Let's see, let's go ahead and take that one down. Let's go ahead and put this one up. This is something I found, which is scratch notes. and it's basically this kind of little box of these scratch deals that you can have, and students can use, give them some sort of, I think that's like a little wooden pencil you can use, stuff like that, where they can make their own kind of, little notes, and stuff like that. I think this has multiple uses. It's not, it'd be good as a prize that you can just give away. That's fun to use, but I think it has, I'll explore some more because I think there are some multiple uses to that. And then the third thing that I saw after doing a little research, I think, is this here. And these are just meme stickers. I think stickers are awesome. I do love me a good sticker. So why not go ahead and have just a bag of these stickers, have 100 of them, and just, the kids, you can give them away. They'll put it on their books. They can, put it on their computers, their phones. And when somebody says, hey, where'd you get that? Well, they say, hey, I got that at youth group. You should come one time. Come hang with me. So, yeah, I think those are just fun little things you can do. And I'm going to put a listing about all the links for those. I'm going to put down below as well. So if you're interested in any of those prizes, I'll let you know that I am an Amazon affiliate. So a way for you to support the channel and support me is you can buy some of those things using that link. And I thank you in advance if you choose to do that. So, prizes, I think, you don't have to go super expensive. These are little things. Those ducks, you may have to, I wouldn't give those ducks away, willy-nilly. But I would find ways to, to create this kind of collectible idea of these ducks to where they could get multiple ducks and make it for like, hey, I brought a friend and I get a duck and my friend gets a duck, right? You could do it during duck hunting season or something like that. I don't know, just throwing out ideas. But like I said, I don't think you have to give away PS4s. I don't think you have to give away super expensive things to get students to come. I think you can build a natural, system of prize giving without breaking the bank and without bribery, without saying, just straight bribery. Say, hey, you come to this night, you're going to get X. That's fine. In fact, I have a video, and I'll either put it up here somewhere, it's called the Youth Ministry Prize Dilemma. So if you're interested in that video, it'll be either up here, and I'll put a link down below as well. That kind of shows a little bit about why prizes can be a complication when it comes to getting students to come to youth group, but also getting students to stay. Because when you run out of prizes, you may run out of students. Because when all that giving is done, if you're not putting in good relationship time, then the prizes aren't going to matter. Things like stickers and these ducks and these little scratch things. And I'm going to put together a big list of those things. So be sure you're subscribed to the newsletter, because I think I'm just going to send that out as a list. So be sure you do that. But like I said, I think those are just fun little prizes you can give over time. And then they become collectible little things that they can say that they have and they got from the youth group. So, and I think anything you personalize, by the way, you can make, get personal stickers created, fun, holographic stickers, maybe for your youth ministry, some sort of collectability to that, where when students come, they can collect all 4, 5, or 6, or however many different stickers you want to get. Just make sure you budget well with that. And then every time a student comes or something like that, they can collect all 6, right? We do that, right? I remember when Lord of the Rings, when I want to say it was Burger King who did Lord of the Rings, and I went and bought all 6 glasses. So I ate there 6 times to get each one of those glasses. Think about what you could do with some of these items to be able to help to inspire students to come on a regular basis, because they're going to get something collectible. They'll get something that's one of one, and they're never going to get another one like that. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. You're welcome to leave your thoughts down in the comments below or in the comments there. I'd love to hear. Let's see. Nathan Conrad is asking, how often do I give away prizes? I just did a series called Baby Steps. And when I do games where I'm asking students to get messy, something like that, I give them away when I do games. So it depends. It just depends what I tend to think that the more I'm asking of them, the students to do, the prize tends to be a little bit better. But for those things, I give away a prize after the games. So my bag of goodies of you reach in and grab a thing of sour worms. Great. Pull it in there. I mean, they're super inexpensive. Go to your Dollar General or someplace like that where they sell those kind of things for $1 a piece or $2 a piece, and spend $20 and have 10, things that they can reach in for and do that. So I don't give away prizes every week. I give it away when I'm doing maybe a series, when I am doing games as a part of a series, when I am just having a contest of some kind, but I don't necessarily do it every week. And my students don't expect it every week. Like tonight, there's no prizes. There's just showing up and we love each other. And, I make sure too sometimes on nights that I'm not having prizes, that I'm just having food, like maybe a good pizza night. I don't do it all on the same night necessarily. But maybe I have something really simple, where there's some sort of bonding element. Prizes are one thing, depending on your goals. And once again, these kids don't have to do anything spectacular to win a prize. They're just participating in a game. And the game could be super silly. Like I did a game last week because I had no idea what I wanted to do. It's Halloween. I was like, what do I want to do? So I happen to have like an old skull, like a plastic skull that you can buy at your dollar store. And so we played skull hockey. And I just had students one-on-one. They would play skull hockey, and they would use the I cut a foam stick. I don't know what to call them now, but you know what I'm saying. You do them during summer, and I just cut them in half. And man, I just said, go at it. You got to hit the other side of the wall with that, and they competed with one another. They had a ball, no prize included. Sometimes things are just fun, and you don't have to tell them there's a prize. Is there a prize? No, there's no prize. Just fun. Fun is the prize. Fun is the prize. So reserve your prize giving. Save those as surprises. Like, hey, I'm doing a game. And if you don't normally give prizes away, hey guys, I got a prize tonight. We have stickers. We have, some other thing they can have. Reach into the mystery food bag and pull out something good there. I think you just have to just let your kids, you don't have to train them that every time you do a game or a thing, there's a prize. Doesn't have to always be. You decide that, right? You decide when the prizes happen. But thank you for the question there, Nathan. Appreciate that. Question number 3. Let's move on to question number 3. And if you have questions, once again, feel free to keep those coming. I will answer them as we go. Question number 3 is brought to you by coaching. I talk about coaching a lot. And you're technically, right, getting coaching just by watching the show. Now, think about this, those of you that are watching. Think about if we met twice a month and I talked about you with your ministry, how far along do you think your youth ministry would be after 2, 4, 6 conversations, deep dives, 90 minutes, 2 90-minute conversations a month? How far along do you think you might be as a youth pastor? Now, we're not just talking about success of the youth ministry. We want that. But I want you to be successful as a human being. I want you to be successful as a youth pastor. I want those elements a part of your life because it's mentoring, it's coaching. It's not just for the now, it's for the future as well, because wherever God may bring you, from church to church, from position to position, whether you go up in position or lateral in position, the things that we're going to talk about are transferable. And so if you are interested in coaching, and I hope you are, check it out. Once again, it's right now I have for the month of October, if you will simply, there'll be a link down below. When you check out, you say, I'll take the 3 months worth of coaching, Paul. You'll get 20% off if you just use the words coach me and put them all together. Coach me. And you get 20% off for those 3 months. And then we meet every month, twice a month for 90 minutes each. And then we go through whatever it is you want to talk about. We'll talk about curriculum. We'll talk about outreach. We'll talk about opportunities. And my goal is to help bring ideas and fresh ideas to you that maybe you would not think of yourself. So if you have a budget and you were thinking about your budget for the new year, you say, boy, I would love some coaching. Maybe you could put that in your budget and say, hey, Pastor, I would love some continuing education credit. Now, you could take a class or you could take 3 months worth of coaching. You could take both, whatever you choose to do. I'm just saying that I would like you and your ministry to grow, not just numerically. We're talking about depth, and not just width, but depth. And then you as a person, you as an individual, I want to help you get to that place too, where I can help you in the areas that you feel like you need help with. And that's something we would talk about. So if you are interested in coaching, you can check it out. There'll be a link down in the doobly-doo for that as well. So let's move on to question number 3. Question number 3, how can our small group get closer when we're all so busy? And the goal is, I would think from the question, that you're saying that you meet as a small group, but we're not doing anything but meeting as a small group. So my thought on that is this, is that sometimes we don't do a thing because we want everybody to show up to it. Like the whole group has to show up, or we're not getting very close together. And I would say that really your goal is, if your small group is 7 to 8 people, and that may be large for some small groups, I don't know, but I think 7 to 8 people in a small group, you say, hey, listen, there's several ways I think you can do it. Do something that's drop in. There are various things that students are doing, right? They're sports, band, extracurricular activities, family things. What if you just had a drop-in night? What if you just said, hey, this Saturday, if you're into football, say, hey, look, we're going to have the football game on. You're welcome to drop by. It's not an official event. It is a drop by, hang out for a little while, and you can leave type of thing. And the football game's on. You have snacks. It's not a big deal. You get to stay home and watch football. If you're like me, you like to do that. And so you could do just a drop and go, right? Where you just say, hey, we're just going to drop in for a little bit and leave. Nobody's required to stay for any length of time. You could do that at a restaurant and just say, hey, I'm going to be at this restaurant. And if you want to drop in, I'm going to be here from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, having coffee. If you come, I will pay for your coffee. Just come hang out for a little while. You don't have to stay forever. Just drop in, have a brief conversation, and head out. Because I think what we do is we equate with a lot of time is growing closer. And I think if you're having micro conversations and just if they're willing to show up, I think that is an attempt to get closer. I don't think you can look at that and say, well, they don't want to get closer, or because they don't want to spend 6 hours with you. I think if you create little micro opportunities for conversations, for those type of things where it's over a meal and over some food, you could do that. If you say, we're just going to have a thing at my house this Friday night for the next, however many, once a month, next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's movie night. And we're showing Disney movies. Have it on a Friday night, see who shows up. Doesn't have to be, once again, it doesn't have to be such an organized thing to where you don't feel like you have to have, a bunch of kids show up to this thing. But it's just drop in, hang out for a while. And so if you want to get, have people draw in closer, create multiple opportunities for them to be able to drop in, whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at your house. Just find some ways to create those moments for everybody to kind of get together that would not normally get together, right? If it's just drop in, hey, it's middle school week this week. We're going to do middle school at my house. If you want to drop in, drop in. I'll be watching Disney movies, and you come over and hang out for a little while, watch a movie. You don't know who's going to show up. And it's really not based on, you want to have probably maybe teams of 2, because it'd be a little weird maybe if a kid showed up by themselves at your house. You want to make sure you're not at the house by yourself. You want to make sure you have built in at least maybe 1 or 2 students before you release it to everybody, and just say, hey, can you be at my house? Can you hang out at my house for a while? The 2 of you, in case some students drop over. Would you guys be willing to do that? There you go. That you build in 2 to where it's not weird. And then whoever shows up after that, that's just gravy. That's just like, great, fantastic, right? So that's my thought on that. If you have comments or questions about that, you're welcome to leave those down below as well. So I hope that I have answered your question. Now, I also have one more question here. and it is from Nate. Nate asked me a question, and so no, this question is not brought to you by anything except the kindness of my heart. Question is, any ideas any ideas you've seen? And I gotta fix that because you know how I feel about these things. I don't like I don't like when there's errors in my things because you look at it so quick and you go, oh. So any ideas you've seen? There we go. Bonus question. Any ideas you've seen or have done yourself for a Christmas Eve service? Not really. And from Nate, who asked the question, I believe he says that he is doing some little skits on Christmas Eve, and I think you have to look as to what is the goal. What is your church's goal for a Christmas Eve service? Is it family oriented? Is it just a service like, hey, preaching, music, so forth? Are we doing the Christmas part of the Christmas play that we had a week ago or 2 weeks ago that the kids did? If it's family oriented where there's like lots of participation and you say, hey, I'm doing the students have some skits to do. What is the goal? Is the night meant for just worship alone? Is the night meant as a family night? Is the night meant for outreach? And I think once you determine that what the purpose of the night is, then you can start exploring options. I don't think you can squeeze in something that is not going to be effective for your congregation. I'm sure your pastor does not want you to do something that is going to work against the goals of what is happening. So be sure to talk with your pastor. Be sure to find out what is the goal of the night, and then say, okay, we're going to do some skits. I think skits are great. I don't think I've done any skits with the teens, not for a Christmas Eve service, but surely that's not a bad idea. If there are some really fun type of skits you can do, just do one or two, and say, hey, our students would love to do that. I think it's a great idea. Why not? Right? You can do, if it's Christmas Eve, by the way, Christmas Eve, people want to get in and out. They want to do 1 hour because they have bikes to put together. They have, decorations. They have something in the oven. They have family plans and things like that. Hey, what is going on there? Jen? What's going on? Oi! Hello! Are you? That makes me wonder if you say "oi." That makes me wonder if you're from down under or thereabouts, New Zealand or someplace like that. But yeah, I think that Christmas Eve service is different for various people. So I think you just have to figure out what the goal is. What are you trying to do? But if you're doing something already, Nate, that's working, leave it. Go ahead and do that. If it fits the goals of the service for the evening, if it fits the what your pastor is wanting to do and accomplish that night, then I say go with that. Go with that. Make it to where it's going to be easy for your students to participate in. It's not going to take a ton of time necessarily. I think skits are easy to do, and you just go ahead and do them, and the congregation is blessed by that, right? So just depend whether or not. If it fits the mode or the mood of the service itself. So, all right. So I that's it, guys. That's all my questions. Unless you have a question for me, that is all I have covered today. Like I said, all the links and all the things that I've talked about today are going to be down in the doobly-doo down there. Check them out. Sign up for the newsletter if you've not signed up for the newsletter yet. Check out some of the other resources that I have over on my store. You can check those out over there if you like, over at gumroad.com/youthmenresources. You can also go over to thediscipleproject.net. You can read some blog posts. I do love to keep writing. Josh Nix. What's going on, Josh Nix? Let me see what, let me get out of here. Somebody is looking for a game. Josh Nix. Looking for a game. Do you have, Josh, tell me, do you have a message for tonight? Do you know what you're talking about? Or are you looking for just something Super easy. Super easy. You let me know. Some quick game ideas. Anything with cups, obviously, is a good thing. You can do a game where you just give there's up cups and down cups. So if I had, let me see if I can do this. If I had I wish I had a cup with me to do this, but I've lost my. Oh, here we go. I can do it this way, right? If you have a cups that are up and cups that are down, and so the goal is the teams. You split them into teams. Half the cups are up, half the cups are down, and then one team. Their goal is to turn all the downside cups up. The other team, their goal is to turn all the cups that are up down. And so give them like 1 minute, right? You could do it in things there. So just put them in, 1 minute slots and say, hey, for 1 minute, you got 1 minute to turn as many cups up or down and see how that works. Or you can do 2 minutes, however you choose to do it. You don't want to do this so much that they are tired of it. So, I would do it in short, I would do this in short bursts to where you can, the kids aren't going to get tired of it, and you do enough of it to where it's fun, and they're doing it as a team. So it's a great team game if you're looking for something like that. Also, let's see, what other good, fun, quick games do I recommend? Oh, if you don't want any props at all, I like a game. It's just super easy, and it's called Quick Draw. And Quick Draw is a fun game where you just put your hands behind your back, you team up, you partner up with students, you partner them up, and then you say, okay, this is called Quick Draw, like gunfighter style. It'd be fun to play some like gunfighter music in the background, that type of thing, Western music. And then you go ahead and say, okay, when I say 1, 2, 3, draw, you pull out your hands and you have a certain set of numbers on your fingers, whatever you're doing. Let's say you pull out, you go, all right, ready, set, draw, and I pull out 2 fingers and you pull out 2 fingers. So we both done 2 fingers. Whoever comes up with the amount, total number of fingers that are present, that are up, and shouts it out first, they win. Okay? So in other words, if I put out 2 and you put out 2, that's 4. If I say 4, then I'm going to win. The person who loses has to go sit down, and the person who won goes and finds another partner. So that is a process of elimination game. It's super easy, and all you need are these things. So lots of different, I mean, like I said, you could do the skull hockey if you weren't here earlier. Go to the dollar store, buy yourself one of those plastic skulls, and go get some pool noodles, cut them in half, give every student a half a pool noodle, and play skull hockey. And either set up an area where they got to get it between chairs, something like that. Super easy, fits the theme of the month, and it's a lot of fun to be able to use. So I hope that answers your question, Josh. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope that answered your question. I hope that you guys just got some benefit today. Leave me some comments down below. I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about office hours? What do you think about me answering questions? What do you think about the new time of 1 o'clock? I would love to hear all of those things because I'm always shifting, moving, trying to figure out best ways to be able to accomplish where I can help you grow as a youth worker, where you can build a successful youth ministry, and just help you out every week to be able to accomplish the things that God's asked you to do. So love to hear your comments. Leave them down below. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you being a part. And I will catch you guys in the next one. How about that? Have a good day, everybody. Talk to you later.